Hello, welcome everyone to the Scope community meeting. I think um, maybe let's start with the uh, actions from last meeting. Just looking at the notes. Maybe I can share them as well. Share button. This one. All right. So the first one was that Philip and I were going to look into updating some of the JavaScript dependencies.
Yeah, so
I think the easy ones are done.
yeah, so actually ended up because some of them were blocked by the older version of Webpack that we had. So I went on and upgraded Webpack to version 4. I'm still finishing this PR. It's it did take some time as expected because Webpack 4 also required a lot of other dependencies to be upgraded. But I think it made sense all our other UI, the other two are using Webpack 4 already, and it's just way to move forward. And it's actually yesterday I made it and it's better, better hot reloading and easier, simpler config. The only thing left, I think, that I need to fix there is the contrast mode, which we still support for Scope standalone. So Jordan, I don't know, 2 years ago wrote a Webpack plugin for it. And because it was meant for Webpack 1 and the API has changed so much, we had to I basically need to rewrite that function a little bit. I will see how much it takes and whether I should whether there is a simpler way to do it now. Don't want to spend too much time on it, but it is what makes contrast mode work. So yeah, that's that. And then I will look again into security issues. They should be upgrade Webpack and Babel, the two big ones that if they're violated, then we can upgrade everything else equal.
Hey all.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Satyam here. Just 1 second. I'm trying to see how I can rename my. Okay. Yeah, got it. Okay. Cool. So we are Akash and I'm here. So nice to see everyone again after a long time.
Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we already started.
We started.
Sorry. We just started 2 minutes ago. I just gave a short brief on upgrading some JS dependencies.
Sure.
And action items.
Yes. So another thing I already did, there was some updated PRs from Brian in the meantime. And then there was 3576.
Probably the report size issue.
Yes.
Take a look into that. I wrote, a short. Basically, it seems that we might have some more serious bugs there. But yeah, so I was unable to really research this. Can you, Satya, maybe mute your mic, please? So I tried, I was trying to research the report size early, but in the end, I stumbled upon some other issues that would maybe need more research. That might be even more serious. But then I didn't get back to it since Brian commented. So I will look again at it and see, try to pin it down.
I think that was everything. Satyam and Akash, do you want to talk about the kubectl describe issue now, or Do you want to take some time?
Yeah, we can
When do you want to do it?
talk actually. Yeah. Uh, so I think last time I remember, am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We had demo, right? After that, we were busy with some other stuff. Now, like, we are somewhat relieved. So basically, kubectl describe. It is Akash has developed it. It requires some major changes. So that is why, we were trying to find some time, and now we have some. So basically, first one is to bump up the client Go version. Uh, and once we do that, upgrade the client Go version, so we will basically we will have to test all Kubernetes part of the scope. Okay, and after that, we have the PR ready also. It is just a matter of cherry pick, and we can send it. So mostly, the first PR we are going to send is about client Go upgrade. Yeah, you want to say?
But that has a for the deployment scale thing, that has a change. They removed the scale methods from the client Go 10. So I have used the deployment update method directly. So,
Sorry, what was the name of the method you're saying they removed?
so earlier it was scale method, which we were using to scale the deployments.
In control.
Oh, okay.
In control.
Yeah.
But now I'm using from client Go 10, it is removed. So I'm using update method.
Okay.
Appreciate this. Yeah, if you want to see just a quick demo, probably share the screen. Link with. Okay, share. Yeah.
So another comment from Brian at that time was like this terminal thing. We are showing the describe in terminal. So on this front, we need your help, Philip. How can we make it better? Instead of terminal, can we get a better visualization for this?
So my first, I mean, impression is that this is like a great place to start. It's very straightforward. It just throws spits out kubectl describe, and I mean I think it's a great first step. I think I would say that this is mergeable as it is, but then we can discuss how we could improve the UI from here on. Because maybe some of this data we could start moving into the tables in no details. I'm just not talking from top of my head. Because that's also a bit controversial maybe because no details is growing and it's already big and showing a lot of information. But I would say there is nothing blocking here UI wise from how it looks like. Maybe Bianca's here, maybe she can also.
Hi. Nice to meet everyone. I'm Bianca, I'm a designer in Weaveworks. But can't you apply the filters to the tables view in scope?
Wait. Oh, so
because if we added this
right.
to the table view, it could be filtered out by default, and so then it would not be too many things.
You mean in table view here?
Yeah, is that not what you meant?
Yeah, maybe we're talking about a bit different thing because filter filters the nodes, but I guess you're maybe talking about filtering the information that is displayed. So
right.
Basically the only addition, I don't know if it's obvious, they just demoed it. They add this icon in the control bar, the last one.
Yeah.
Which just runs the kubectl describe in that mode.
Yeah.
And just drops it. So what was your idea?
Wait, where did you want to add this information?
I was just talking about later improvements that some of these things actually might be formatted as table and put in no details.
Oh, in the inspector, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's I mean the question is for now do you see enough? blocking in the UI or something that could directly be.
No, I think this could definitely get merged. Eventually, we also want to make this thin bar, this blue part in this view, more understandable, because normally we've seen from our monitoring that people are not clicking them as much.
Yeah, they're not.
Because there's no description, there's no title for it. But I think it's a really cool feature.
Okay, cool. Yeah, then I mean you can like open the PR and like assign it to me to take a look, leave the UI part of it. But I assume the backend is also pretty straightforward. So yeah.
Nice work.
Nice work, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So Brian, are you comfortable with this view? Just because you had a last comment, right?
Well, you know, I think the functionality is worth having, whatever it looks like. I think when you make it look like this, it doesn't really feel like a proper part of the app. I think that the terminal look to me is all about you know, the features of the app have I've run out. I'm going to SSH in effectively to the box. I'm going to run stuff in a terminal. That's kind of what it makes me think of. So bringing this up in a window that doesn't look like the terminal window, I think is better. But I mean, I'm happy to go ahead because the functionality is worth having, and we can come back and make it look nicer later.
Sure. Yeah, fine.
Another issue as soon as this gets merged to improve the UI.
I mean, so when it
Philip,
looks like a terminal, this is actually not any command.
Actually,
command.
sorry to interrupt everyone. Philip and Bianca, we are hardly able to hear you.
Oh,
Maybe your microphone.
is it better now?
Yeah,
A little bit.
We are too far away. We can't speak up.
Yeah, maybe you can increase the input, Daniel.
Yes. Fine.
We are really shouting here, like 10 centimeters from the mic.
okay.
Yeah.
No, but is it better now?
Yeah. Basically, you know, you can increase it if you are on the Ubuntu machine from here, something like this.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
well, Daniel just
that's
did
exactly what Daniel is doing.
But it's
Okay. All right.
Yeah, oh, it's on some kind of automatic.
Mute.
Oh, so weird.
Okay. Anyway, but I think that Brian has a good point. I think that if it's not a terminal, so if it's not any kind of command line interface that from there I could run another command, then it should not really look like a terminal output. I would prefer, before merging this, to just make the background white and make the font Proxima Nova like the other stuff, and then we can style it better after.
I'm not sure if there is like a simple, nice, and consistent way out of this, except like pulling it all the way out of terminal. But I think it's already. I agree also with what Bianca and Brian say, but we already. So we have like execute SSH, but we also have like logs and attach, which okay drop a lot of information, but like it's already arguably so that you actually type something in instead of seeing the information. So this is like, for me, this is tolerable in the first step. That's what I'm saying. But yeah.
Okay, it's tolerable for me too, but let's make another issue to, I think the node details is already really crowded, but to put it in another place,
Yeah. Cool. Okay, can you hear us now, by the way, what we said?
Yeah, we can at least get what you're saying.
All right.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Nice.
All right. So yes, this is like first step. I think yeah, we can definitely have this feature soon. We
Cool.
were looking at the client Go upgrade, so we'll do it soon. Yeah, that's all.
Nice. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. It's so
Thank you.
exciting feature. Cool.
And long-standing bug.
Yeah.
3 years old.
Daniel,
Oh my god.
Oh wow, I thought it was new.
This is archaeology.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Speaking of bugs and PRs, let's take a quick look. There's a button. All right. Yeah, since last meeting, there's only one new issue, which is great.
So I have a PR ready to be reviewed for that one, I think. Yeah. It's okay, a bit of context. So time travel, which is not, doesn't come by default in Scope standalone, but is still supported with Scope open source. And we do use it in Weave Cloud. Basically enables you to go through past times, just like browse previous times, to go at the point in time and see like the quality at that point in time. So it was all like we made support for all API calls to support a timestamp and give us like the data for that timestamp. But the download report one didn't have it. So when you would go into past and then click on like save raw data as JSON, my expectation was it would save it at that time, like what you are seeing basically in your screen. That's what it would scrape. But it didn't because it was just taking the most recent one. So that's sort of related to my investigation of the other issue we talked about before. Here I added support for well, different timestamps so that you can go in past through Scope and download the report at that timestamp, which is useful like for analysis, comparing new and old reports, doing it all from the UI. So anyone, if you want, guys, volunteer to like take a look at that PR. It's not big. It's like rather straightforward implementation.
So it's still marked as assigned to you. I thought that might mean you were still working on it.
No, I do this. I don't know. Like I don't think we're all using maybe the same convention. But since GitHub added this reviewer, I normally keep it assigned to myself because I'm the one merging and all that. But just add a reviewer when I need a review. Maybe yeah. Do you think I should be assigned myself when I add the reviewer?
It doesn't matter too much, but that's yeah, you're right. We're just kind of assuming different conventions. So now you told me I can understand.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Whoever wants. So I also tweaked the UI a bit to reflect that, to be more explicit about a timestamp, as you can see on the second screenshot here in the past. Yeah.
Nice. Let me see. Were there other pull requests? No, not really. Did we decide anything on the 3566? It was end of January. That's at least the only one that's not work in progress.
I'm just bringing it up. So the last comment was, I will try to address the changes next weekend.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll send a quick note asking what the deal is.
Shall I do that?
Oh, I can do it too.
Yeah, I'll do it. It's kind of an ongoing conversation.
Sure. Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of trivial. Sorry,
Yeah. No.
just to carry on 3566. It's kind of trivial to fix up, but it's you know, if you have a contributor show up, it's better if they finish the job rather than someone else takes over.
Sure. Yeah, I think that was everything on our list. Anything else we need to talk about?
Did we go through recent issues?
Yeah.
There weren't many.
No, that was all since last meeting.
Yeah, I haven't had a lot of time. Well, the time I have had has been used in other places. So there's a bunch of things that are interesting. Especially the report size is increasing, which costs us money, but trying to make money in other places. So I have not got back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do we have this Grafana dashboards? Like, if we want to look at like how reports are coming in and look at the scope metrics, basically. So, do we have the Grafana metrics?
We have
metrics?
We have not published them. We could do. They're written in Python using a library that we have because we like kind of infrastructure as code. So they'd be a little bit of an acquired taste. Like you can't just sort of like a Grafana dashboard is JSON. And if we publish the ones that we're using, they'd be in Python, and you'd have to kind of run the code to get the JSON out, and then figure out how to get that into your Grafana environment. So it's not quite as trivial as you might hope.
Wait, sorry.
Yeah. Also, go on.
Maybe it's a like stupid question, but what if we just publish the JSONs? Is it like too hard to maintain it? It's maybe good for the start.
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, it's pretty opaque. That's why we do it in Python. But yeah, it might be more useful. Like we could publish both.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like the dashboards we got are a work of genius. It's just that they're like a start.
Right.
Yeah. Sure. Actually, in our project also, OpenEBS, like we have our own Grafana dashboards, which are open source. They are just simple JSON, and users find them very useful to monitor and look at how volumes are performing and all. So that could be case with Scope too. Like Scope is already having performance like CPU consumption issues. So maybe one can keep a tab on that, like look at how much it requires, and they can visualize the metrics. That's all. Like whole intention was.
I should also say, the dashboards that we have got are all around the long-term storage stuff, and I don't even know if anyone else is running Scope with long-term storage. So we can, we got two dashboards. One is totally about storage. So I don't know if anyone's using that. Is it OpenEBS is not running Scope with like DynamoDB storage, is it?
No, not it.
Yeah. So basically everything we have on the dashboard is to do with that. Like we have generic dashboards as part of the Weave Cloud product that show you CPU usage and Go statistics and so forth. But that's our product. So it doesn't even use Grafana. We're not gonna put that in the Scope repo.
Okay. Cool. Maybe we can. Okay. Sure. I'll see. Like we also have some people. Actually, CPU and memory. Monitoring is very important for scope. I feel it should be
Right.
like. Yeah. Because sometimes we ignore this fact, but when users come and they say like okay, my thing is consuming like 100% now, and when we ask them, so we can see like what went wrong, whether there was a node reboot or something. So that way, like dashboard could help.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're running a big back end and monitoring that as such. The probes is the thing that most people complain about in our world, and we don't even have we don't have any metrics typically coming out of those because they don't listen, which I had an issue about that. Let me just find it. Yeah, 3340.
3340.
334.
Well, yeah, 2318 is perhaps also relevant, but 3340 is sort of explains why we don't even listen to the metrics request. So anyone running Prometheus is not getting any metrics out of the scope probe. Like you say, if you're monitoring generic CPU, then you get that, obviously. But there's a lot more data that we could surface.
Yeah.
And we don't.
Sure, we can see like what is useful for user basically. Because we see like lots of things are there in the scope, which which can make those are valuable but not known. So this can be one thing.
Yeah, I mean, most likely when people complain about using a lot of CPU, they probably have some other condition, like the guy who had 26,000 dead processes. And so what would be really useful is we kind of surface those conditions, like the reason you're chewing up a lot of resource in the monitoring the scope is because we're trying to visualize this 26,000 dead processes or whatever, and nobody actually wants to see 26,000 dead processes. What they want is to be told they have 26,000 dead processes, and then they could go figure out why.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, there's really a whole bunch of external things that you might want to monitor.
Mm-hmm.
Do we need like a placeholder issue or something where we talk about what kind of Grafana dashboards to add or what might be useful, or some example dashboards or something? Or are the open issues we have?
Yeah, that would be good.
That enough?
I think that issue you just opened one, right? No, that other one. Yeah, I think we can extend this 2318 itself, because Prometheus metrics are there. We only need Grafana dashboards to visualize those. I think we can have one issue.
Okay.
We will add more information. It is just we also need to do more research, like what are the things which scope provides, and whether they are useful to user or not. So that will decide.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I don't know like if there is any docs about it, and like if I never looked into it myself. Maybe yeah, I have no clue like how many metrics there are and whether it would make sense to write a doc for something like that.
Yeah, that also can be added.
Okay.
Fine.
Yeah, maybe I can just look into it and open a placeholder issue for it myself, like just general, so that we don't forget about it. I'm curious right now.
Okay. Right. Let me do a quick search on like, do we have anything for this in the scope already or not?
So according to our Weave Cloud product, there are 13 scope metrics,
Okay, I could list them.
which are basically the cache hits, report size, request duration, that's a histogram,
Okay.
and then the last ones are actually they're not scope metrics, they're Prometheus metrics. So yeah, there's just like 5, something like that.
Cool.
And then there's the HTTP requests one. So yeah, there's a few. There's also the standard Go one.
Yeah. Okay. Do we have anything else on the agenda?
No, not from our side, basically.
Cool.
Okay, great.
All right.
Cool.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice chatting with you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
See you in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
See you in the next meeting.
Bye.
Bye bye.